tell us a little bit about Buck Leonard, the history of the league, and just kind of, what you guys are doing here today. Introduce us to what's going on, because, I think it's exciting. I do appreciate the effort that anybody makes and trying to help our young folks, teach them teamship, how to work together, how to, just how to build character. And anything you can do to do that is just a positive thing.
Okay, sure. My name is Brian Patterson.
Right.
I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Buck Leonard Association for Sports and Human Enrichment. And I brought my brother, Jonathan Hunter, along today. He's our organization's historian.
Okay.
And I
didn't realize he was carrying such an important mantle.
Right.
JJ and I went to high school together, and It's been a while.
Nobody knows Negro League baseball better than Jonathan Hunter, I'll tell you. So he's our go-to reference, human reference book, so to speak. But like I said, I represent the Buck Leonard Association, and we have an RBI League. We were just talking about that before we went live. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us a little bit about the RBI League. Okay, I think that's a fantastic thing that you have going.
Yeah, RBI stands for Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities.
Okay.
We started that program, became an affiliate with Major League Baseball in 2003. 2008, between there.
Sure.
And we were the first MLB RBI affiliate in North Carolina.
Okay.
So, yes, sir. So we've been doing it for quite some time. And our motto is we don't turn any kids away from learning the game of baseball.
Well, how do I sign up for it? I mean, how would I know about it?
Well, you can go to our website, buckleonard.org, and you can get the information there on our program. And we also have league apps as well, Buck Leonard RBI League apps. So there's a lot of different ways you can find out.
And you're playing over at Stith Park. You're saying you're playing Talbot Park.
Stith Talbot Park.
That's right.
We play the bulk of our games there, and we have a 3-division baseball league. We start from T-ball all the way up to junior league baseball, 15 and under, basically. And we have the non-competitive league, teaching kids how to play the game, how to enjoy the game, which is important, right? That's the first thing. And our hashtag is bigger than baseball. Right. So from that baseball league, we try to teach, great sportsmanship, character, build on the accolade that Buck got as baseball's greatest gentleman. So that's important with us. Not so much. I mean, we want to compete. We want the kids to have a certain skill set, but the objective is that they become great citizens in Rocky Mount. That they do well academically. As well. So it's not just baseball that we're interested in. We have a lot of different programs, so I just want you to know that.
No, I get it. It's all about building character in individuals, and all about building the understanding of how you work with each other and how you move forward and how you become bigger and better in all things. And that together we can usually do better things than we can individually. And I think that's part of the message. That's what I'm getting anyway.
Absolutely. And so we take those. The baseball is that's the candy, right? Right. Sports attracts kids, right?
Right.
From there, we introduce STEAM programming. They're learning without even recognizing it, right? So we have a literacy program. We have a VR and technology. We'll talk more about that with our consultant, Tab Richardson, when he gets in here.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of stuff going on, Sandy. So it's great for the community. It's great for Rocky Mount. We think we like to play a big part of, the city that's on the rise.
There you go. Well, I think it was the center of the universe. That's what I've been out there peddling to people in the various mayor circles, and but I'm not sure it's quite catching on like I think it should. But anyway.
Well, today's show is helping. So
that's right.
Thanks for inviting us. We're glad to be here.
That's right. Step in the right directions.
That's right. Absolutely.
So let's talk history. Let's talk about how we got here. Let's talk about Buck Leonard. I know he is. I mean, he's one of the greatest baseball players of all time, bar none.
Okay.
But I'm not sure everybody in the world knows that. So let's just start there and understand. Big Jonathan here is our historian.
I'm going to defer to Jonathan on that.
There you go.
Well, thank you. I'd like to say, Buck Leonard was a great gentleman of the game, like my brother was saying. I want to talk about his character first of all. And he's very, very much was a family man. And he was raised here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, born in 1907, I believe. 1907, September the 8th, 1907. and his father passed away when he was only 11 years old.
Okay.
And it's right during the Depression. So he had to take over and become the man of the house because he was the oldest boy. And he took that and he worked. And when he had time, free time, he would play baseball. But he was a man, like I said, of great character. He loved to play the game. He was one of the greatest first basemen ever to play in the United States, not just in Negro Leagues.
No, I agree 100%. I don't think there's any argument about that in any circle.
That's right.
And he won 9 straight pennants in a row in 1937 and 1945, and also won another one in 48, and he won 3 Black World Series, and he had a great batting average. He batted near 400 about 12 times, and he was just a man that was ordered. He was very ordered, a man of integrity. He did everything at a certain time. He carried himself in a very dignified manner. And he was a very religious man and devout religious man. Like my brother was saying, the greatest gentleman, probably baseball's greatest gentleman, if we want to try to emphasize that. And he was known for his hitting prowess. That's his thing. He was very good at hitting, and he was also a great defensive first baseman. And he was the team captain of the team. At his rookie year, he was already the captain of the team, and he played in the Negro Leagues for 17 years, and he had the longest history of tenure of any Negro League player in the history of the Negro Leagues. And he had a great career. Also, he played in Latin America in the Winter Leagues. He played year-round, played in Cuba, played in Puerto Rico, played in Mexico. After he finished playing in the Negro Leagues, he went down to Mexico and played 5 years and things of this nature. And Buck Leonard came back and started his own business in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and gave back to the community, was a truant officer. He also was a physical education instructor, and he also was a vice president of the Rocky Mount Maple Leafs here in Rocky Mount. It was like a minor league team.
Well, it was a minor league team. We had minor league teams here in Rocky Mount from playing at the old stadium. We were talking about that before we went live too. From 1962 to 1975, right? And then there was a little gap, and I remember we had the Rocky Mount Pines. That was probably not the best example of minor league baseball, at least in that period of time. But so I didn't realize that he was instrumental in bringing minor league baseball to Rocky Mount. So talk a little bit about that. I mean, those were fun days. We could go down to the park. In the summertime, I did it with my dad or with an uncle or cousin or whatever, and fairly inexpensive. Get you a Coke, watch a ball game, and it was fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, Buck Leonard had great administrative and leadership skills, and he learned a lot of that from his manager and Cumberland Posey. Actually, Cumberland Posey Jr., but Cumberland Posey Sr. was actually what you call a captain in Pittsburgh. He had his own shipping line, and he worked with Andrew Carnegie. So also Buck Leonard learned a lot from Cumberland Posey, and also Buck Leonard wore a lot of different hats when he played in the Negro Leagues. He was the team treasurer, he was the team captain, he had to pay the players and things of this nature, and he also had to play. So he had a lot of different hats. So he used those skills that he learned playing baseball, and when he came back, when he got into baseball, he had all those administrative skills, and he used those skills to become a vice president of the minor leagues. And he was an inside baseball man. He had a lot of respect of inside baseball men, so he knew the game very well from top to bottom. Very highly intelligent man. So and very calm demeanor. And very temperate, so he dealt with people very well, and he just did the best he could for this city, and that's how he got into being a manager and a vice president of the minor league team in Rocky Mount.
That's awesome. Look, how did he actually get into baseball? Where did that passion come from? Let's go back to that.
The story, and I'll let my brother elaborate on that a little bit, but the story when he was a kid, I think he was around 11 years old.
Okay.
And Jonathan will correct me if I'm wrong, I assure you that. But he loved the game, and he was interested in the game, and like a lot of kids were curious. So at the old municipal stadium, I think it was called Raleigh Stadium back then. Okay. And he wanted to see a baseball game. And there was baseball teams, there was professional baseball players, white professional baseball players, and he peeked through the fence. In the fence, and got arrested for it. So that
got arrested for watching the game. Okay, well anyway,
absolutely.
We'll come back to that later too.
You know, the times were different a little bit different back then.
Sure.
And so you got arrested for peeping through a gap in the fence, and you know, so peeking through that fence, I think that whole episode in his life, I think it just sparked this fire and this passion that, you know, he really wanted to play this game. And that happens to a lot of us. We can sometimes look back in our lives and say, hey, that was the light that went off.
Yeah, right? That one sentinel moment that lit the fire.
That's right, that lit the fire. So, and that from there, you know, he embarked on a career in baseball. Now, Jay can elaborate a little bit more about how he actually started playing, you know, Sandlot baseball in and around the city. Baseball was huge back then.
Right,
you
yeah.
know, so, and how he, you know, but that's probably where it started. That fire was lit.
Well, I love that. Yes. I love that story. I mean, it's just kind of get that FU kind of, you know, fire running and, you know,
absolutely,
and going. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So, I think we've just passed the 50th year of his.
Got on the pen.
There you okay. Yeah, you do. The Buck Leonard just installed into the Hall of Fame in 1972.
1972, 50-year anniversary. Yeah. And so, actually, we're headed, me and Jonathan and Miss Rose, the CEO of the Buck Leonard Association. We're headed to Pittsburgh tomorrow.
Okay.
Mr. Leonard, or Buck. Mr. Buck, as we call him.
Sure.
Mr. Buck is going to be inducted into the Pittsburgh Pirate Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So that's going to be a great event. So we're going to be down there a couple of days as he gets inducted for that.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Now, why the difference? I mean, you know, wait 50 years later for Pittsburgh, or I guess maybe 50 years, but then, you know, the National Hall of Fame, 1972. That was, and that's pretty quick recognition too.
Oh yeah.
There hadn't been a real merger between the two leagues, and then in 1972 for very long at all at that point in time.
Right.
10, 20 years.
You know, actually, in a great point, Sandy, because, you know, if you look at some of the pictures of the Hall of Fame, his Hall of Fame class, a lot of those gentlemen are up in age. So Buck got in 72, which is, he was still in pretty good health. He was, you know, and so that was great for him to be acknowledged at, you know, before he was, you know, real up in age. So, you know, but the other thing about that, he wasn't inducted by himself. Another great Negro League baseball player went in with him, and that was Josh Gibson. And they were a part of the Thunder Twins.
I knew that.
The Thunder Twins. So, you know, Josh could really knock it over. He was known as the Black Babe Ruth.
I got you.
And Buck was also called the Black Lou Gehrig.
I got it.
So they were a dynamic duo that a lot of people are unaware of.
Right.
And these guys were as great as anybody, a great as duo as anybody in there. And it's great that they're finally being recognized as such. Before we broke, we were touching on some of the programming that we offer in the city of Rocky Mount. I always use this hashtag bigger than baseball.
Okay.
One of our biggest deliverables would be our STEAM program, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math programming that we do. And one of the biggest pieces to that is our literacy program. We call it BIBS. Baseball, ice cream, and books.
There you go.
Right. And we find that kids love to read. You know, they love to be read to. They love to read out loud, and we do this a lot of times during the games. Right out there at the park. And also, what kid doesn't love ice cream?
I've not met one.
I've not met an adult that doesn't like ice cream.
Yeah,
ever.
if I stood up, you saw my girth, you'd know I do like some ice cream.
So we have over 3,000 books that have been donated to us, and these books are, you know, about African-American authors and about African-American people in history. So we think that's a vital part about a lot of our kids to learn to read while learning about themselves. It's always very important. So,
well, before you go further on that, if I wanted to give you a book, how would I make a donation?
Well, you know, we're located at 408 South Washington Street.
Right.
And you know, you always got my direct number.
Well, I do, but I want to make sure anybody listening might be be able
to. You can also, get in contact with us. Go to buckleonard.org.
Right.
To get our contact information and reach out to us. That's probably the best way to do it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Taking donations all the time, though. I want to underscore that, right? So that's always good.
Absolutely.
With the primary focus, African-American authors, writing a history as a general rule is a theme that you're looking for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We think it's as important for kids to learn about themselves as well. And we also have the Black Diamond Math Program. Okay. There's so much math you can learn right there on the baseball diamond, right?
Baseball's a game of statistics. I mean, there's a statistic for everything.
Absolutely.
How many times you swing the bat before you even go to the plate, and what the impact of that is.
I don't know any sport that uses numbers more than baseball.
I don't either.
I can remember as a kid just having our little leagues within our community, and someone always had to keep up with these scores and statistics. And I learned about RBIs and how to do that, and batting averages. And I would ask kids to this day. I always ask them, how do you come up with a batting average? You go to play 3 times. 10 times you get hit 3 times. What's that? Yeah. And so, so it's always a great.
And then it'll realize they're doing a percentage, right?
That's right. Exactly. So, and another important piece of our program is our virtual reality and augmented reality. We're collaborating with NC State University, and I think I think this is pretty good time to introduce Tad Richardson, who's our consultant.
Okay.
And doing so many things for us because as Buck, we're all about the work, but how do we, make people aware? And so Tad has been gracious enough to come here all the way from the West Coast to help us out with that. So
welcome, Tad. I want to hear a little bit about this virtual reality. I think I've tasted just a little bit of it, but this sounds absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I would say first that the key, as I've found over the years, to great marketing for small businesses and nonprofits is through partnerships, and this partnership with NC State really did kind of fall into our lap. Derek Ham is the director of art and design, the department head of art and design up there, and aficionado with virtual reality. In 2020, which was the 100-year anniversary of the Negro Leagues, Derek partnered with the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum that you were just mentioning and created a virtual reality experience called Barnstormers, Determined to Win.
Right.
To tell you how great that piece is, it was invited to the Cannes Film Festival a few months ago and also won the Best Virtual Reality Experience at the Ignite Film Festival in Australia. So Derek has graciously licensed that to the Buck Leonard Association for nothing. And on top of that, he's got his class creating these augmented reality features that, we could bring Buck up right next to us and have him stand here. And we can see his Hall of Fame plaque right in front of our face.
Right.
And put a Homestead Grays hat on your head.
Sure.
All through virtual reality or augmented reality. So we had this experience with another partner, Learning Lab 360. She has Rebecca Habershaw has a 30-foot trailer full of virtual reality equipment. We brought it out to Carolina Mudcats game a few weeks ago and also to Wilson Tobbs game, and the kids love it. We actually brought it to the RBI Pitch Hit and Run too here in Rocky Mount, and the trailer's full of kids the whole time.
That's awesome.
It's incredible, and it's just a great gateway, right, to expose the kids to career opportunities. Right. Education opportunities.
Sure.
We want to spark their interest in those types of opportunities and then follow through with mentors like we have in the partnership with NC State.
Yeah. So you look for partnerships. So what other kinds of partnerships are you guys entertaining or looking for? Obviously, it's to advance the message, it's to advance the programming that you guys have come up with and are committed to.
Yep.
So anybody listening out there, what would they be? What would be something that might be of interest to you?
Well, you're alluding to partnerships.
That's right.
In the vein of universities and colleges, I like to mention Wesleyan
College
right here in Rocky Mount, which they've they've been a big help this past year with recruiting kids and their students from Kate Parachek. The Parachek. She's going to kill me for mispronouncing her name. But her students from the sociology class have been tremendous. They actually come out and gone out in the community to help recruit kids for our baseball programming. And also they were part of the virtual reality experience, which we first brought to the Boys and Girls Club in celebration for last year's.
That's where I saw it. That's where I had a little taste of it, and it was cool. And the kids were lined up, and they were super excited. In fact, I was going to try it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm like number 25. These kids want to get back in line, go back and do it again. I'm like, have at it.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't last year. It was this year.
It was February.
It was February. So
right when I got back.
It feels like a year ago.
Well, so that was the first place that we had it, and their students were a part of that. But Tad, did you want to mention any of our partners out there? I mean, it's always City of Rocky Mountain.
That's right.
Parks and Recreation Department, Joel Dunn, and
he's
the crew.
He's an asset to our community, isn't he? Joel Dunn
and Chad and
absolutely.
And I can't. I'm leaving out some people's names.
That's why you never ever list names, right?
right. Alex.
That's right.
Alex, I'm not going to forget them. They've been just great. So yes, sir. And Lynn, driver at the sports complex. I think I got everybody.
You guys were just talking about statistics.
Right.
And one of our new partnerships is with the website baseballreference.com, which was it really is the most comprehensive database of baseball statistics. So if you're a baseball nerd like me, it sounds like maybe you are, that's the place to go.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll check it out. I am a little bit of a nerd on that, but baseball is one of those games, personally, I've got to be in the park to really enjoy it. I mean, I can watch it on TV. It's just not the same. Yeah. I just like the smell. I like it being hot, a little sweaty, cold beer, hear the crack of the bat. I mean, all that just makes it come alive for me. But it is a game that requires singular focus on not only the awareness of what you're doing, but awareness of where everybody else is in the count. What's the count of the batter? How many runners are on base? How many outs are there? What am I going to do? And you're playing chess in your head. Mm-hmm. And so the critical thinking skills that evolve from that are pretty massive. And you're right. You don't really realize it because you're just having fun.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, one of those things I tell kids all the time, and, how to stay engaged with baseball, because you can – everything's at a standstill until it's not.
Is that the truth?
Right. And then everything.
But then it's total chaos.
But I think, Sandy, you did hit on something. Baseball is probably one of the only games, I'm not going to say the only game, but the experience to be out there in the park is so much better than what you watch on TV, right?
Right.
I mean, the whole, the engagement is awesome. And what we try to do, we try to make it a family experience. Well, it is a family experience. Right. When we invite, have kids play. And so at Steph Tarbert Park, so we always try to, have a great time. And we do play at the sports complex as well, so.
Well, there you go. No, I think it's just an awesome game. Unlike it does, but it's got to be live for me. Right. For me, anyway. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what other great things are going on?
Well,
we got some October events. Did I understand that? We were just chatting a little bit offline.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to kick off what's the first event?
Yeah, well, should we talk about September 8th?
Sure.
September 8th.
That's coming first.
Yeah, Buck Leonard's 115th birthday. And you're going to come help us celebrate, right? And
that's the plan.
Make a proclamation of Buck Leonard Day. And that's special. We're going to do that right from the front steps of Buck's home.
Oh, awesome! I didn't know where exactly that was going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard several iterations. But.
I think that we're really excited to show off Buck's home. It's one of those places that will be a feature of significance for the city for a long time to come, as will the Buck Leonard First Baseman's Hall of Fame, which will be housed, at least temporarily, at the Imperial Center, and we'll celebrate that on October 29th at the annual gala. That is shaping up to be maybe an unprecedented gathering of Negro Leagues families here in Rocky Mount.
One of the things I'd like to interject about the baseball, First Baseman's Hall of Fame is that, one of the criteria for getting into the Buck Leonard First Baseman's Hall of Fame is you have to be of great qualities. It's not just about being a great baseball player. It's about being great within your community as well.
And the character.
And the character. Yeah. So, again, building on that baseball.
I was going to say that's the underlying thing that keeps surfacing up here. It's about the character. It's about the man. Character. It's about accomplishments come if you're doing the right things.
That's right. Absolutely. Baseball's greatest gentleman, as he was touted to be. So,
yeah, that's a great point. There's there were a few folks that were being considered for the Hall of Fame that didn't make this first inaugural cut, and it was down to the some questions about character.
Well, you know what? That's bottom line. You got to have standards, and that's something to be celebrated.
Yeah. And we'll be announcing those inductees on September the 8th on Buck Leonard Day.
Oh, awesome!
Right. Yeah,
awesome.
Impressive list, and also celebrating them in an impressive way with unique artwork from Daryl Matthews, whose father, Fran Matthews, played for the Newark Eagles, also a first baseman.
Okay.
So Daryl's artwork is going to be on display beginning September 22nd at the Gravelly Gallery out at the Dunn Center from September 22nd through November 8th.
Okay.
We'll be back at Wesleyan for a symposium on October 27th.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
And then
your event. We expect to see you out there on the golf course.
Well, I'm just trying to do it this year. Last year, I blew my knee out, and I'm telling you what, I've all giving up the game.
You were there in spirit.
I was. I sent a team out at least.
So it's going to be our second annual Buck Leonard Golf Tournament for inner city youth sports.
Outstanding.
And so we had a good turnout last year, and we hopefully build on that and have an even bigger turnout. So we're going to be doing this every year, so we're looking forward to that. And that's going to be on Friday the 28th. And then the gala will take place on that Saturday the 29th.
Outstanding.
That's going to be great. It's going to be at the Imperial Center.
Oh, that's a remarkable venue for stuff like that, I think. So we're running out of time. That's pretty much the events for the fall, right? And I can check that out on your website and be able to see that.
BuckLeonard.org.
BuckLeonard.org.
Easy to remember. BuckLeonard.org.
Should be.
Follow on social media. We're making announcements left and right every day.
We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Well,
you name it.
This is exciting stuff. I want to thank y'all for coming. And I tell you what, much success. Anything I can do to help you be successful, I want to be part of it. And because you're doing great things for the community, great things for our children, and just the awareness and underscoring integrity as an important character is something that often gets lost in, we'll call it today's culture.
That's right.
And we'll just leave it there.
We'll leave it there.